KeKe Palmer shared shocking security footage of Darius Jackson allegedly attacking her. The actress is seeking a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, who she claims has been physically and emotionally abusive to her. The Nickelodeon alum is also asking for full legal and physical custody of their 8-month-old son, Leotis, but wishes to grant Jackson visitation. Palmer said he trespassed into my home without my knowledge, threatened me before lunging for my neck, striking me, throwing me over the couch, and stealing my phone.
This video here, don't let that mislead you. We'll touch on that in a second. But I guess he showed up to get his son, to take his son to a football game. He wanted to take his son with him to a football game, and she told him, no, you can't take my son with you. And it went up from there.
There we go. The BS, man. What's that BS?
This is what I'll say. Nothing ever starts where we see it, like Gavin said. I'm pro all my sisters because I feel like, you know, as a woman, I just rather uplift than harshly judge. But at the same time, we need to critique. You know, as part of being a sister, sometimes you got to get that a harsh truth. Although y'all already know, I don't play about domestic abuse. No abuse is good. It didn't start here. From what the mother said, there had been multiple accusations and of abuse with at least worth of a year. But once again, like Mr. Walker said before, he actually said it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. I think it's how you start and how you finish. She had no business dating this guy to begin with. This is why we get into conversations of the difference between standards and what they call it, being entitled. You know, she picked horribly wrong from the jump. I was already knowing the worst was coming when I found out that she picked him at a party because he was cute. Which is a very dumb way to date as a woman over 22. So yeah, that's just me. It's sad it did not start here, but to me, I'm not surprised. His personality seems like he would be a abusive man. So I'll say that.
How you figure?
Was multiple different things that he was accused of doing, allegedly, right? Most of the time, abusive men will try to like do a few things. And good thing we have a lawyer here, so he probably has heard some of this. It's not always, but they'll do things like love bomb you in the beginning. They will a lot of times, and it's not in any particular order, but take you away from your family or your friends. They will a lot of times exude jealousy and controlling ways. And I ain't talking about the Usher situation, but I'm just speaking in general. So he was doing multiple little things that was showing that he could possibly be an abusive partner. So that's why I'm not surprised. Now that outfit that she wore to the Usher concert, I already knew that was a sign of a woman rebelling. What are you rebelling from? And a lot of people missed that part. Not saying it was right. I wouldn't do it. But you know, we just have to look at the whole story and all the little pieces to figure out how we got here. That's what I'm saying.
Fair. We definitely need all the context before we start making claims. I agree. That'll be my only argument, because looking at the culture and knowing how social media is, if we really are out here saying, you know, we out here looking out for each other, you know, protecting one another, making these accusations towards any man, like I said before, the accusation alone is damaging. Just the accusation, but it's done already. So that's my biggest gripe, regardless of whether it's found out he did it or not. He guilty. It's just done.
If let's just assume that he was not being abusive and he just wanted to pick up his kid and he got framed. Let's just assume that for the sake of argument for a second. He should have taken a family member with him to the custody exchange, or if it was an informal custody exchange, he should have taken somebody else with him. That way you don't want to get into a he said, she said situation, especially in a situation like this. If you have a young child or even an infant, they can't speak for themselves in court. So if you have a child that's 11 or 12 and something happens, you don't even have to have a witness there. The child is of age. They could go into court and say, you know, my mom or dad didn't do anything wrong. Here, they just had a vicious breakup. It was very contentious. And, you know, if you're Darius, why are you showing up alone when under a scenario like this? I mean, he's a wealthy guy. He has connections. he shouldn't have put himself in that situation to be in a he said, she said situation. Now, let's just say that maybe he actually was abusive. Then if what he did, I think KeKe handled it really well by having the security footage. I mean, that really bolsters her case that, you know, there was something going on here. It wasn't just a verbal spout. So, you know, if that's, you know, the security cameras does not look good for him. So the only other thing I wanted to add is that, you know, I have a son that's 2 years old, and I think that kids need their mom and their dad. And even if this incident happened, you know, you want to believe that if Darius did something wrong, he's going to get the help that he needs so that he can be involved in his son's life. I mean, this idea that I think KeKe doesn't want him to see the child ever. I mean, that might be a temporary solution, but I can't imagine a boy like growing up without his dad in his life at all, and that being a constructive thing. So I guess on Darius's end, you know, he should take more efforts to have security footage on his own or bring a witness with him, you know, even maybe until the dust settles, if he truly was innocent. And I have to say, if KeKe, you know, I can't really fault anything that she did. She had the security cam footage, and her story seems pretty compelling. This does not seem like an Amber Heard situation. So those are my initial thoughts. You can't. I mean, no one knows for sure exactly what happened, obviously.
And I agree. Ultimately, it falls back on the man's head. He shouldn't have went there by himself. He should have had, you know, better understanding, better friends, something. Yeah,
many times the exchanges will occur at police stations where there's cameras going on. Sometimes they'll happen in front of the curb, and you bring a family member, a parent or a sibling in the passenger seat. You know, you do the exchanges and move on that way. You know, if you're a guy and you're looking to protect your custody rights and you're not an abusive guy, you want to be protected from false allegations, you're in very good shape by doing that, at least until the dust settles. But here, you know, the security footage doesn't look good, and this one sure seems like KeKe's onto something. I just hope that in this situation, KeKe doesn't turn this into, let's keep a son away from his dad for 15 years. You know,
that's what it's looking like. Because that ain't footage. Them is still photos. She didn't release no footage. So if the video itself, so I'll share the screen back up here. This video, and look how these sisters are reacting on TikTok. This is deplorable, folks.
You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Lock his ass up.
Oh, that's TikTok. All right,
man.
It's all fun and games. And you know, they in the comments, this is how are you a bum and have the audacity to put your hands on the KeKe Palmer? Come on, man. So this photo here, this video footage is from February of 2022, almost 2 years ago. So come on, man.
Stop the cap.